What's up, you guys? On today's mission, we're gonna punch offshore on the jet ski. I'm gonna show you this whole thing rigged out. Got the cooler with some ice in it, put our weight belts in there, and then we also have the Buffalo Gear fish bag. This thing opens up and it goes along the entire ski. And you go ahead and throw the fish in there, then you cover them with the ice from the cooler. Then you actually have some extra space in the cooler to throw some other stuff. Johnny boy, who is the mastermind of this mission, decided to upgrade the ski. Look, we got a ruler just so we know the measurements, we know the fish sizes. But we have two spear guns. I strapped them on right here with some bungees, strapped another one on here so we have room for our legs, our masks, and defog inside of this little compartment. And then deep down in there we have a drift sock, and then also some flashers because we have something special we're gonna do that we don't normally do. We have a dive flag right here, got the fins tucked in here. The rubber kind of keeps them tight in here so they don't pop out. Dry storage. So he and I are going probably 10 miles offshore. We are gonna look for some weed lines, and we heard the Mahi were around, so fingers crossed we get in some. We got a couple of pilchards to pitch. We actually went out yesterday on the boat with my buddies and we got into some action. The viz was crystal clear, so I'm gonna roll on that footage while we punch out, and I'll see you guys back out on the water. You guys, welcome underwater and welcome to the voiceovers. You can see that the bottom from the surface, and we're sitting in about 95 feet of water. I'm going ahead loading up my spear gun, and this is a Rob Allen 120 roller. It is the Timberline edition, and it is an absolute weapon. One of my most versatile spear guns out there. So Killian made the first drop, and he had a nice long drop. He ended up popping a mutton, which is a really good sign. We're hitting this ledge, kind of doing a little bit of hovering above it because there is a little bit of current, but you want to make sure when you're doing this deep diving, you want to be right on top of your buddies. You good? Bro, dude. Yeah, I got a mutton. I'm keeping an eye out for sharks, but that is a first fish and a nice fish to start off the box with. So now that I know the muttons are around, I'm gonna go ahead and make a drop. I can see the ledge from the surface, so I know it's gonna be a very good drop because I know exactly where I'm at. Hold your breath with me on this one, and we are heading down. Now I know my dive buddies are up above me, and when there's current, which is there's current in the area I'm at, I don't want to sit on the bottom. You know, just because if you sit on the bottom and your buddies drift past you, especially at this depth, when you come up, either they're going to have to be fighting against the current to stay on top of you, or they're just going to keep on going and they're going to be a little bit too far away to help you out if you run into any issues. So now whenever I'm making these drops on these edges, that's usually where the fish like to hang out, but they don't hang out right on top of it all the time. So I'll just kind of hover above the edge and I'll be looking off into the distance, and usually muttons kind of come in off the sand, or in this case off the top of the ledge, and this guy comes right in. I made a really conservative shot right through the gill plate, and this is the first fish. If you know we have a couple fish in the box, I'll go ahead and take a little more risky but higher reward shots, you know, trying to go for the stone shot right behind the eye. But I just wanted to make sure I landed the fish. I knew the sharks were not around, so I wasn't necessarily making a stone shot essential. But you can see Killian making a drop right next to me, watching, and then Ben is at the surface in case I had any issues once I hit the surface and blackout or anything like that. But really easy dive for me here. Here we go, taking another drop with me. And Ben actually just shot on this drop, so I knew something was down there. He hit the surface, said there was a black grouper, which makes me believe I know there's structure down there. So my eyes are going to be peeled. I want to make sure that we get as much as we can off of this drift and hit a good spot. So I'm just descending down, and God, this visibility is insane. Just gin clear over 100 foot. But as I'm going, my head is tucked and I'm kind of doing a spinning move, looking down current, scanning the bottom. And you can do that as you drop without having to pull your head all the way around. Just kind of position your fins to twirl as you go down. And it ends up being super relaxing. You're getting a full scan of the bottom. Like before, I do not want to go down and just sit on the bottom. And I think I'm at like 102 right now. And when you're diving this crystal viz, it's very easy to kind of get lost in the depth because it's almost mesmerizing. So I go up to this edge. Now I do bump bottom, but I'm not like just sitting there. I'm kind of pulling myself along the bottom a little bit. And I see that mutton. He's kind of borderline. The cuda off to the left, a chub right in front of me. Just making sure I do some thorough scans. And about this time, I'm about to head up. And right as I do, all that grunting and commotion brought in an African pompano, of course. And as I'm heading up, I look back down, and that's when I spot him. I point off to him. Very small chance that a diver is going to be able to get to him, but I just pointed off and decided to just head up, not going to turn back around. It was kind of a longer dive anyways, and it's a deeper dive, so I don't want to push my limits. No fish is worth pushing your extra limits and going outside of your comfort zone. Freaking pompano. Medium size. As I was coming up, he was swimming like right up to me, and I'm like on my way up. He might be down there if he grunt. Hey, make a drop and grunt. Yeah, I just saw an African pompano. After making a couple drifts, decided to move spots. Killian makes a drop on this barge, and there I looked off and it looked like they were yellow jacks, but they actually ended up being amberjacks. Actually, no, I think they may have been yellow jacks. I'm not positive, but like earlier, current is absolutely moving. Whenever you're hitting spots like this, it kind of stinks because you got to reset. You got to, you know, they're sometimes very productive, but it's a pain because you always have to, you know, reset more frequently than just drifting along, you know, a nice reef ledge or something like that. So head to the bottom. I know there's fish around. And this is a really cool dive because Killian hits the surface. Ben and I actually, I mean, and this isn't really deep. It's like maybe 70-ish, like 75 feet to the sand. Ben and I make a drop together. You see him off in the distance. Those are amberjacks. Oh yeah, they were amberjacks at first, but some yellowjacks do come around. I'm really hoping that a cubera or something pops its head out, but Ben lets these yellowjack come right into him. Makes a good shot on one, and so I know he has dinner. And I'm kind of looking off. There's a nice mangrove cruising right into me. Take the shot, and now I'm using a double wrap, and there was just a hair bit of slack in the line, so I couldn't rip him away from the wreck. He kind of hit a pinch point right in the sand in the corner of the wreck, and he just wiggled right off the spear. I thought it was a good shot. I don't know how he got off, but I guess the angle just was a little too extreme, and he pulled right off the shaft. Unfortunately, I came up empty-handed, but it was nice that Ben was able to get a fish. And you guys, this is my buddy John. John, say hi.
What's up?
John was on a couple of episodes and people said they want more John. So we're gonna get out there, we're gonna talk to the camera, we're gonna get into some action, and I'll see you guys out there on the water. All right, you guys, we made it super far offshore. I don't even know if you can see the shoreline. Oh, shoot. It is very tippy in this ski, but look at this. We got some weeds, and it is a long slick of them. We're gonna travel along this. Fingers crossed we find some mahi. There's some people fishing this, so that is a good sign. We're just gonna patrol this, and we need to find something more substantial. Like this weeds, it could hold mahi, but they would just be passing by. What you gotta find is like some structure, some like a buoy or a pallet. So fish gods, please bring us a pallet. Any thoughts, John?
I think we're gonna find him.
Oh dude, I'm so excited. I love this kind of diving. I'm excited I get to take you with me. My favorite type of diving, this is it. So let's go. All right, so we ran and ran and ran. We are halfway done with our fuel. It is a little suspect, and we are so far offshore. Like, look. Nobody or anything within a hot while. I mean, you can barely see specks of land. But John's already in. Got the setup. There's a bucket over there. Ton of bait on it. Fingers crossed there's more than just bait, and there's actually some fish we could get. Time to get in water to show you guys how blue this water is. It is unbelievable. Should I mess with the dive flying? Yeah, sure. Good thing I have a stiffener in it. Pure stock open, huh? Perfect. God, it's gorgeous. Woo! Yeah, I don't need. Oh, I have my flasher on my weight belt.
When you're diving this blue water stuff, it's really not a whole lot of deep diving. Maybe 20 feet, if that, because you see all of the structure is at the surface, so it's kind of opposite what we were diving before. The bait is at the surface, the mahi hang at the surface, there's wahoo that hang out at the surface, and you can see why. There's little structures make a big difference, and it holds all the bait.
All right, we found the holy grail. Not really. We found something floating, but it's not what we were hoping for. I guess it's turtle mating season. Yeah, there's some turtle action.
Just one?
No, it's two. There's two. God, I got so excited. I was like, dude, that's like a. Oh gosh, they're getting it. Greens. Woo! Sorry to interrupt you guys. Oh, it's all right. They're still together. They just got a little spooked. All right, we're still running and gunning. That is, dude, I got so excited. That was a monster. It was like a mound in the middle of, I thought it was a boat. I thought it was like a boat that was upright. All right, but we're gonna keep running. Fingers crossed.
What's going on there? Fish just hit the surface right there.
Oh yeah, those are fish. All right, let's see what we got. All right, let's leave these turtles alone. They jumped up again and scared the shit out of John and myself. All right, we saw some bait popping.
Looks like bait. That looks like.
Look like fish?
Maybe like mahi, I'm thinking.
Really?
It could be some little albatross.
Yeah, probably. All right, we're in a good zone. Let's keep searching. Bro, we are surrounded by mahi. Look at them on the water. Little schoolies, we got some schoolies. They're popping off, but we found them. And fingers crossed, there's some bigger ones hanging around them. We need a big bull. So yeah, we're gonna, they're fired up. They're fired up. Hopefully they stay on us. Let's get in the water. All right, let's go. I'm trying to balance it. Are they still there? Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's get them a little fired up. Would you be able to handle that gun? Are you ready? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hop in, okay? All right, gun me, please. I see you.
This ended up being a little tougher than I thought. I'm trying to track these fish, but they are so darty. Honestly, all of them are legal size, not by a lot, but they are legal. I was hoping that one would give me a shot, but I'd make a couple of drops. Well, drops. These drops are, I'm just blowing the air out of my mouth and just barely going under the surface. I do pull the trigger on this one, but you'll see me whiff right here. Not even there. It was so crazy.
They're so darty.
These things were just insanely darty. I was really trying to take my time, but gosh, they were just so fast. I'm trying to track my gun. Make sure you're not touching your bands when you do that. And I totally whiffed.
They're so darty.
I went ahead, reloaded, And at this point, I know they're not going anywhere, so I'm just gonna take my time, wait for one to line up. I'm not gonna be extremely picky because I know they're all legal. May not be the biggest one, but it'll be close enough. Might be able to get 2 on this. We just need enough for dinner to make the trip successful. Finally connected, and I don't want to mess it up, but this guy jumps. Nice little fight, and we get some fish in the box.
What do we got?
Dude, stud Mahi. They gotta be 20 to the fork. This is the biggest one. We'll probably leave the rest just because we want to let them grow. But we got dinner, and I did a nice meat shot, so I didn't, or I did a nice gut shot so we don't mess up the meat. John's gonna give the guys the rest, and I'm gonna gut this guy. Take care of it. Look at the color. Holy crap.
Look at them feeding right here. They're just coming in.
There's 4. There's 4. There's 5 total.
Yeah.
Bro, look at the color on this thing. Look at this.
These are beautiful fish.
Godly. It's gorgeous. This, oh my God. Dude, it's so darty, man. I missed first. I was like, God dang it. Especially when they're in a frenzy like that. Stoked. Yoo-hoo! Mission success. Dude, that never happens the way you plan it. But we're going to try to get on a bigger one.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah. You did a better job than I did. That is amazing. I'm so stoked we were able to like plan a mission and execute a mission. John is struggling right now.
I just shot one with no fins.
Dude, he's like, you need fins? I'm like, nah. And yeah, but it's all good. Where is it at? Where's your fishy? Oh, you already threw it in? Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, John's is bigger than mine. Schooly, but well over legal size. They gotta be 20 inches. We were thinking about shooting another one, but we said, you know what? Let's let this school like continue to grow. We're gonna throw these guys in the fish bag, and then we're gonna continue running this weed line, and mission success. Anything else on top of right now is a bonus. Those Mahi are still cruising around, which is crazy. They're diving with them is so beautiful. I love this crystal clear water. It doesn't get any better than this. I was so stoked I was able to take you guys with me.
We did it, dude.
Yeah, dude. We said we were gonna do it, then we did it, and that's how we do it. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish out this weed line, and we are halvesies on fuel. Going halvesies on fuel, and we're halfway out here, and now we gotta go on the way back, but we're gonna be going with the wind, thank God. I knew I saw something in the water. I was just cruising this weed line. I'm like, stop! Oh, there was something on the boat. I was like, I don't know what that was. It looked like a Mahi. But there's a huge weed patch up here. We're gonna kind of cruise by that, maybe see where we're at, and then just punch it back in. But yeah, God, we are so stoked. You guys, we made it over to John's house, and we're starting off the day using this little tool, and you punch into these coconuts. I ended up doing 1 hole here, and well, on this one, I ended up doing 2 holes, poured all the coconut water in here, and we're making some little rum drinks. We got some, what was that, Florida Cana, some Coke Zero, I did a little splash of Coke Zero, and then did some lime and some coconut juice, coconut water. And that's how we're starting our day. And now we have to head outside and fillet those fish. So these things have been dry aging for about 4 days, just sitting in ice, and I would re-ice this thing, and I would keep it drained. We'll start off with the stud. And when you do that, it really just makes the meat a lot better. I guess it gives a chance for everything to kind of get out of it. Why do we dry age it?
Allow the proteins to break down a little bit, make the flavor get a little bit better than what it is without letting the fish decay.
Okay. Yeah, because once you start filleting it, that's when the decay process starts. Once you take that knife to it, once you have those fillets separated from the body, that's when they start to decay. So John is just going ahead and making an incision all the way down to the spine.
We're gonna work our way over that spine, and we're gonna hop down to the other side of it.
John fillets a lot of Mahi. I, on the other hand, do not. Because he does a lot of hook and line fishing, and you are very successful at catching these. You saw how crazy they were over the bait. Very easy to catch these when you're the hook and lining, but it is so much fun getting in that water and doing the diving with them. They're so beautiful in the water.
And on all Mahi, there's always a little bit of forehead meat, whether it's a cow or bull. This is a cow. Some people like to peel this. I do not. This little front section comes off. The only reason I do not like to peel it is if I am keeping this fish, it leaves a fiber on it, like if I'm gonna freeze it or keep it for any period of time, even just vacuum sealed in the fridge for a little bit. Tonight, like if you're eating it tonight, that's fine. You're not gonna notice anything.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the last video, I actually did this pulling of the skin. So if you wanna see that done, make sure you check that crazy videos where we saw like 10,000 fish. A permit got eaten by a Goliath and we were diving with like one fin because one fell out of the jet ski. It was a wild adventure, so make sure you check that one out at the end of this video.
You take care of those. You just come in until you feel the skin, fillet right off the skin. There's really no meat wasted there, just that little bloodline, and it comes out.
That's crazy.
There's no meat wasted there.
That looks
And see,
fried.
if you look at this, it does not have the fibers that you would normally see when you peel it.
The way we just filleted the side of this fish is the exact same way we're gonna do the other side as well as the other fish. We're gonna finish up slicing, dicing out here, and I'll catch you guys in the kitchen. Let's go. Now the cooking starts. I'm gonna go ahead and roll on a slicing and dicing, and I will explain along the way. You guys, we're doing two different types of mahi. First one was the one you just saw of us slicing and dicing. Thyme, rosemary. We sprinkled salt and pepper over those fish. We put some butter on them, threw them in the oven, and topped them off with some onion and some fresh limes. We're gonna let those cook at 350. We're gonna see them when they're done, and we're actually gonna get into this right now. Gonna be blackening some mahi, and we're gonna do it John's way.
We are going to take a stick of butter. You got your pan ripping hot. The biggest thing with fresh fish is, or in fish in general, is you never want to overcook it. A simple way to know if it's cooked already without putting a thermometer in it or something, come over, look for a big piece. If you can push right through it, no problem. There's no rubbery. We're done. We're ready to eat. We're gonna plate it up.
One style though.
We got another one.
The blackened fish is finally complete. What John did, he had the cast iron really hot, put down some butter, moved it around, kept putting fillet after fillet on. After a couple minutes, you just wanted a quick sear, flip them over, season it, give it a few minutes, flip it over, season it, and if you need to flip it another time, you can, but this ends up being the end product. And the seasoning we use is usually, what's it, Magic Jack?
Paul Perdome.
Paul Perdome. Honestly, I like mixing it up. I like trying different things. Find the seasoning that works best for you, but make sure it says blackening or Cajun or something like that, and just go out and give a couple of different seasonings a try. What'd you do with the Brussels sprouts? I know there's a secret ingredient in there. I already know.
All right, I'm gonna tell you the secret ingredient right off the bat. It's called bacon grease. If you want your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, whatever vegetable that you're gonna bake, you want it hot, 425. It crunches in my mouth. That's what I want.
Dude, hell yeah.
Stir this.
So the blackened fish wasn't enough. We actually had to make a cream sauce. We sauteed some onion, jalapeno, poured some cream in there, and John had to top it off with some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. This is gonna go over the blackened fish. We're gonna sit down and give all this stuff a try. Oh, this looks like a meal for champions. John, let's give it a try.
Let's give it a try. All right, let me get some of these onions in here.
Dude, that's gotta be the best piece first. You know,
I hope so.
already know.
Oh my God. The The jalapeno, it's not spicy, but it's got a great flavor to it. The cream, the Parmesan, it all comes together with the blackening season. Really good on the fly recipe we came up with.
What do you think, 10 out of 10? No, what do you think, 8 or 9?
It's at least 9 out of 10. We're going for the
Baked.
rosemary thyme, baked. A little bit of onion. Bright, fresh, a little bit of citrus in there. That is easy to go to if you're not familiar with blackening. This is the way to go. I'm gonna give it just a little less. I'm gonna give it like a 8.5. Fresh flavor.
Bro, that's so fresh.
Yeah.
Tastes like that rosemary and the thyme really gives it like a fresh, and then the onion and the, that's really good. And we didn't go heavy on the butter. That is such a clean, perfect, healthy meal and a ton of flavor. But I cannot wait any longer. I need to dig into this. You guys, I loved getting out there on the jet ski. That was crazy. We sent it so far offshore, but that was incredible that we actually got into Mahi. Everything went as planned, which never happens when you get out on the water. You guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Without you guys, none of this is possible. I want to be able to get on the water and share all of this with you guys. If you're new, consider subscribing. Comment down below if you have any questions. And if you want to do a little bit extra, feel free to become a YouTube member. It really supports the channel. But like always, guys, I'll see you next week for another adventure. Later.